ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host, Andre C. Right over here is the Dilemma Princess herself, Melba. How you doing?
The Dilemma Princess. Oh my goodness. Just call me Kelly Rowland.
How
You
you
can be
doing
my
today?
Nelly. My goodness. What a week, what a weekend, what a year it's been for a Melball here.
Yeah.
You know what would probably make me feel better?
What's that?
Tacos.
Yeah, tacos would be good.
Tacos make everything better. But how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing pretty good. Tired. I've been up this now. We're recording this at 8:20 at night. I've been up since 4:30 a.m. I already did a podcast earlier in the day that will be coming out next week. Remember the game, talking the epically interesting Doom movie from 2005. So
Yes, Doom with Carl Urban. Ah, Carl Urban.
yeah, that movie sucks. But on to other things. We're here to talk some professional wrestling. But before we do that, I do want to thank all you guys for all the great support of the channel. All the subscribes, all the likes, all the comments. So please keep them coming in. We want to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But we are going to get into this. We are going to talk some G1 33 nights 1 and 2. Going to be going through 16 matches, so we're going to be a little short on certain ones. We're going to go a little more into other ones. So
Mhm.
yeah, we didn't actually pregame which ones were our favorites. So we're going to learn each other's favorites. I think I have a feeling I know in a couple of leaders, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll kind of see for the first one. I'm like, because I've been watching night three today, I'm kind of losing a bit of night one. So we have to get this out before Melball forgets.
Yeah, like Melba the Goldfish Princess, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Well, we started out night one. We have Yoshi-Hashi versus
Mhm.
El Phantasmo. A good little opener. Again, not a lot to this one. I think they both did a pretty darn good job here. ELP really showing up in here, doing some great job. But yeah, so ELP like kind of playing it up. Like he's in his goofball phase, I would say. Like he's not like quite a complete face yet, but he's not a heel anymore. He's just having fun doing goofy shit. Um, Phantasmo doing the forearm off the second with the to the bridge of the nose. It was just like
Mhm.
that's an interesting one there. Standing on Yoshi's hand, just trying to mess with the hand. Beautiful springboard cross followed up by the lion salt by ELP. Just mwah.
Mhm.
Uh, um, Yoshi-Hashi really coming into this, working really hard in here. Yoshi gets the chops in the corner. ELP gets a spinning chop. He lands a super kick and hits a Thunder Kiss 86, but can only get two out of that. They end up trading roll ups. ELP gets a crucifix. But in the end, they end up trading super kicks. Yoshi-Hashi lands a big lariat and then hits a crucifix bomb and picks up the win. Again, I really didn't expect that finish right there.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, this one it was a pretty solid opener, as you said. They both worked really hard in this one. I didn't find it like too crazy captivating for my taste. Usually I find that El Phantasmo is a little bit more. His matches are a little bit more exciting to me. I think you're right though. I think he is kind of going through this little goofy kind of phase, almost very similar to like remember Tonga before his departure from Bullet Club. He went through that
Yeah,
good bad guy kind of phase.
yeah,
Kind of feels like he's in there.
very much so.
Mhm. Otherwise, pretty solid opener.
Yeah, again, not a lot to write home on. We're going to be keeping a few of these kind of short. So,
Mhm.
well, we got a lot to talk about in the second match. So, I got to go over a couple
Wow.
commentary things first.
Mhm.
Chris Charlton says New Japan 1972. Their website says Chase Owens has the worst odds to win his block and win the tournament out of everybody. I don't know how his odds are
Wow.
worse than Evil's, but okay. And I gotta say, I love his Bullet Club Decade shirt. I really like that shirt.
Yeah. It was nice to see Chase again. That red gear looks really sharp on him. The beginning of this though, holy heck and shit.
Yeah, so Gabe Kid comes out as Chase is on the stage, and they're both Bullet Club affiliated, but he hits him with a chair. He beats the shit out of him. War Dogs don't care about the old guard, I guess. They fight on the stage. Chase blocks a power bomb off the stage. Kid's beating up Chase down the ramp with strikes and headbutts, and God, the amount of headbutts that came out of Gabe Kid here was great.
Hmm.
Kid breaks the barricade, slams Chase into the chairs. He takes a fan's umbrella and is choking Chase. I absolutely thought that was funny.
It
Uh,
was funny. Yeah.
they fight through the crowd, and they end up with the young lions. And Kid just smacks the shit out of Chase, Bolton, Loibe, and Nakashima. Just smacks the crap out of all of them. I was just like, holy shit. Um, yeah, but again, Chase comes back. He goes to the ram, hits a running start, and hits a dive off the ramp onto. Or sorry, no, not Chase. Kid.
Yeah, kid.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Kid. I wrote that wrong. Kid gets a dive off the stage onto Chase and the Young Lions. This man,
Holy hot damn! Did he land weird though? It
yeah, this
looked like
man's a
he
man.
went over Chase's head a little bit and landed square on his booty, right on the pooper.
This man's kind of come unglued. It's crazy. And then he yells,
Mm-hmm.
"What did you?" And he gets over and he's like, "What did you say?" He's gonna go out and bang a Japanese woman. Then Gabe Kidd says, "I'm gonna go out and bang 3 Japanese women" into the English commentary. I'm like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like, and then they get in the ring and they proceed to have a fun little match. They Chase hits
Mm-hmm.
the C trigger when they get in the ring. Chase hits the Marvel special, which is the backdrop into the corner and then a
Mm-hmm.
backdrop driver to follow it up. I didn't know that's what the move was called, but I love Chris Charlton and Kevin Kelly. They're really good. For Owens ends up running him face first into the corner and hits a hard lariat. He gets the
Mm-hmm.
2 count. They're each dodging clotheslines, but Kid gets the rebound lariat, then hits a brainbuster, but he only gets a 2. Kid ends up spitting in Owens' face as he's seated in the corner. I was just like, oh, that's disrespect. But yeah,
Sad.
Kid ends up putting Chase on top, but Chase slides out, and and they trade shots. Chase gets a super kick, half and a half suplex, C trigger, then hits the delayed package pile driver, and Chase Owens takes the win, baby. I love it. And then after the match, he takes the hand of Kid and forces him to too sweet him. I was like, yeah. And then Chase, when he gets the English commentary, walks by and says, he hasn't survived 3 different eras for nothing. He's for life. I was like, that's right.
Yeah, this one was fun. As you mentioned, once they got into the ring, that was when things started to really kind of pick up into a really awesome match. This is where I think Chase kind of showed his in ring experience and that just veteranness that he has. And he worked Kid. He worked him pretty good. I mean, Kid was really exuding that power that he and his counterpart Alex Coughlin have kind of become known for. But really, Chase has kind of, again, been through 3 eras of Bullet Club. He's kind of learned how to deal with that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
These ain't nothing new to him.
No.
I was very happy to see the package pile driver. That's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also enjoy. I also enjoyed the little forced two sweet at the end there. It was just kind of like fuck you.
And I'm really just liking having Chase Owens back. I know there's a lot of people out there that are kind of negative on Chase Owens. I'm not. I think he's like again a few years ago. Yeah, I was kind of negative on him. I thought he was pretty sloppy and like kind of underwhelming. But like I think he's in the last couple of years has really turned it around
Mhm.
and become like especially last year. He really I thought like his showing the G1 last year, while not great point wise, I think he had a very good showing with the
Mhm.
matches he worked last year. And I think yes, he's been injured for a good chunk of this year, but I think he's coming back and he's going to really show people that now you don't underestimate Chase Owens. He's a really good professional wrestler.
Mhm. I agree 100%. Can't add on to that, my friend.
So and kids got to learn to keep us cool because it cost him this win. 100%.
Kind of a hothead. And this was like when I started really noticing the headbutts. And the headbutts are starting to become plentiful. And I would like it not to be.
Mm.
Protect
we'll
your
talk about head.
brains.
We'll talk about headbutts tomorrow on the
Yes,
second
that's what
show.
I'm alluding to. But like, this is like where I'm starting to notice like Gabe Kidd other people there, like even Tomohiro Ishii, he's got the headbutt in his kind of arsenal there. It's a concern.
Mhm.
It's a
It really
concern.
is. It
Moving on.
really is. So we move on to Kenta versus Tanga Loa.
Oof.
Um, yeah, this was really good. Tanga Loa's first match back since May 14th, 2002. So it's been over a year since he has wrestled in a like he might have worked out in rings like back home,
Mhm.
but he hasn't had an actual wrestling match since then. I really liked he got had the camo pants gear, kind of differentiating himself because I know he had very similar gear to his brother when he ended up getting injured. I like that he's differentiating himself from his brother
Mhm.
for this
Mhm.
tournament. And they did say GOD have the most IWGP tag title reigns at 7. They're the most decorated
I,
tag team. So,
yeah.
but you remember they've lost them 7 times too.
I mean, tomato, tomato.
Hmm. So as low as Tonga Lois hitting Kenta on the floor, he says, and he just yells out, "I'm happy you're my first match back." I was just like, oh, I like that. It's like, again, it was just a little. Kenta gets a dragon screw like from the apron to like across the apron to the floor,
Mhm.
working on the repaired knee because his knee was what took him out for the last year.
Mhm.
He
He
then
was
try
relentless.
and he ties it up in the barricade, drop kicking the barricade, really stomps at the knee. But then
Mhm.
like Tangaloa really got a good like comeback in this and look really,
Mhm.
really strong. Kenta though hits the ref on the shoulders of Tangaloa and ends up getting the DDT. He gets the chair from under the ring. He hits Tangaloa with it a couple times. Crowd boos him. Kenta hits the knee with the chair a couple times, places the chair on the knee, goes up, but he misses the stomp off the top, and Loa hits a big lariat, and Jado ends up throwing the ref back in. And then Kenta collapses when Loa goes for the spear, and they trade roll ups. Kenta tries to pin on the ropes, but the ref does see it. Loa almost hits the ref coming in for like a spear, and Kenta hits a low blow. He tries to go for the GTS, but he can't get him out. So he hits a spinning back fist, but Loa just rears up and spears the shit out of Kenta, picks
Mhm.
him up, drops him with the ape shit, which is the Rikishi driver for anybody not knowing. And Tanga Loa beats Kenta in their first match of this G1. I really did not think this was going to happen. And that was
Yeah,
because she didn't get 2 points in our little fantasy game.
yeah, it was kind of like because I play the NJPW collection game also, which has the prediction thing right now going. So if you go on there and actually do all the predictions for all of the G1 matches, if you're correct, you get special bonuses, and then as a result, you get more cards and blah blah blah. When I saw this match come up, my instinct was Kenta, but then I was like, oh, wait a second, it's Tongaloa's first match back. Who better in this block to kind of keep a little level and down on the first couple of matches before giving them that shoot with the more wins and the bulk of the wins at the end of the tournament. There's
Mm.
always that Cinderella story. My goodness, I'm hoping it's Kenta this year. But I bet on Tongaloa for this one, and I was right. I'm happy about that.
You really were right. Again, a great match, great return
Hmm.
by Tangaloa. That's for 100% sure. Great return.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have nothing else to add. You literally wrote, yeah, like you said, everything except for the chair spot where Kento was just relentless, beating the
Oh,
holy heck.
I talked about that.
Well, like you did a little bit, but like he was relentless. He was
Oh yeah,
relentless.
oh yeah. It was pretty brutal. Like, but again, like I thought Tango looked really good in his return. Like,
Oh,
he really did.
100%. 100%. And didn't lose the shirt.
No, he unlike his brother, he doesn't need to take his shirt off.
I'm just saying, maybe ELP was right. He's going to beat the shirt off of him whenever that one's coming.
Oh, we move on. It's block A match. Shota Umino, Ren Narita. They're getting each other's faces. Sorry. Okay, these two. I think if it wasn't for the semi-main event, they would have had match of the night. I think these two like tore it down. Like
Mhm.
just smashing the crap out of each other. Umino doing 12-6 elbows at one point. The exploders, the technical wrestling of both of these guys in this.
Mhm.
Umino getting his Chono STF that he got the STF he got handed down by Chono.
Mhm.
Um, just and the way he was like had it in and just pulling up on the neck looked
Mhm.
absolutely tremendous. I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, but these two like Umino busting out a couple of crossroads in this match. Um,
Mhm.
his finish, that running neck breaker, is now called the ignition. Put the keys in the ignition.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, Narita though, like he was just like his technical ability in this, and then just the viciousness of his chops, the kicks. Again, these two, like there's a reason they're being classified in that new Three Musketeers, but all three members of it have all said no, that noise, because they don't want to be called that. Because again, it's trying to live up to hype. You don't want to, so if you don't accept that stuff, you earn it, right? But yeah, Narita ends up turning a Death Rider into a beautiful exploder suplex at one point. Like
Mhm.
it's just these two beating the shit out of each other throughout this entire, and they it comes down to the end. Tornado DDT out of the corner by Umino. He hits the ignition, but there was just that running swinging neck breaker. But Narita kicks out at 2.9. Then he hits the cradle DDT, but again Narita kicks 2.9. Narita fights out off the Death Rider into the Cobra Twist and transitions into a bridging German with like 20 seconds left. But Umino kicks out, and Umino gets up, hits a very hits Claudio's toss up into the very European uppercut. And this is where the bell rings. 20 minutes has elapsed, and it's just like holy shit. These two they captured me for 20 minutes, man.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, this was an incredible match. I didn't write down a whole ton of notes from this except for they fought literally from the bell starting to the bell
Mm-hmm.
finishing. They went 20 minutes start to finish. It was insane. There were so many reversals, so many like things going back and forth. It was an incredible match. I
Mm-hmm.
really, really did enjoy this match.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought these two, and again, it really shows this is the future of New Japan, and in the
Hmm.
best possible way. I think these two are going to be just utter perfection in
Hmm.
the future. Again, these two really showed that this isn't this. This is just the beginning of a beautiful feud.
Hmm.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. But we move
Frenemies.
on. Frenemies for life, you know. Hey, you're right. Kazuchika Okada versus the Great Okan.
Hmm.
Khan wanting to wrestle early, and he does have the mat advantage on Okada. Um, just a good wrestling match early on. Khan getting an arm triangle choke, using the leverage as best he can, but Okada gets the ropes again. Again, he was using that wrestling skill. Um, Khan getting that Daniel Bryan style arm and leg bow and arrow on there on the single leg arm and leg bow and arrow that Okada did tap out to at
Hmm.
Forbidden Door. So and then he ends up splashing the arm of Okada to really work that arm over. Um,
Hmm.
great Mongolian chops, but Okada does make this comeback. Beautiful DDT, and he grabs, but Khan like grabs the ear and pulls, but then he gets caught into a flapjack because he's like little. Maybe you might not want to be doing that little cheekiness. They end up on the outside. Okada runs Khan into the barricade and then boots him over the barricade.
Hmm.
And then Okada's like dragging him around by his braid, and like
Hmm.
pulls him over the barricade, hits a draping DDT. Again, not a movie you see from Okada much, a draping DDT. So
Hmm.
yeah, Khan getting his Mongolian chops in during the match, hit a
Hmm.
beautiful gut wrench suplex, like just
Yeah.
yeeting him. Looked really good. In the
Hmm.
end, though, Khan hits the judo toss, then applies the grapple face Okan, which is that claw sleeper thing.
Isn't it
Um,
the lamp sleeper?
Yeah, but
Sheep
it's
sleeper?
they called it the grapple fate Okan, which is like the claw. No, I guess it was like the claw. Like it was a claw
I did
sleeper
not hear
suplex.
that.
Like it was a claw on the face, and then it was like almost
Like, wow.
a variation of Jay White's sleeper suplex, but with the claw on the face.
The
And
claw.
the claw. Yeah, it was the grapple fate
Oh.
Okan, but he only gets a 2 count off that. So they each end up reversing each other's moves, but Okada ends up hitting the Rainmaker and picks up the win. So Okada is starting to march towards going after G1 number 5 and his third in a row.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a whole ton on here except for the that hang up on the barricade and the assisted DDT. I thought looked really really good.
Mhm.
Mongolian chops are getting really eccentric again for Okan. He was kind of like still doing like the sheep call, but
Mhm.
like not really as much. He certainly seems to be ramping it up for the G1 season, and maybe it gives him power to make them harder. I don't know. He's
Mhm.
also kind of seeming to start doing the assisted kind of Mongolian chops where he's on the like second rope, coming
Mhm.
off of the second rope and doing the chops there as well.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought they both really showed up, but again, it wasn't like it was an average match to me of the two of them. Okay, good
Yeah.
average match. Yeah.
For who was involved, yeah, it wasn't as high a level as I would have expected,
Hmm.
but given what we were given for the rest of the show, I was happy with it.
Yeah. 'Cause, what I think we kind of ramped up from here. This was the start of the ramp. Like,
Yeah.
well, the last actually we kind of ramped up, had a little bit of a dip here, and then really just went back up with the rest of the show.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we move on to the rest of the show, and it's
Mhm.
Kaito Kiyomiya making his G1 debut versus Gene Blast. Yota Tsuji making his G1 debut. Again, I still don't like that Gene Blast. It just sounds too sexual to me.
Look at him.
Yeah, but it sounds just wrong. They mentioned on commentary that Tsuji was in Rolling Stone Japan recently. He was in the Rolling Stone Japan, which is pretty good to get good coverage like that, right? So
Mhm.
Tsuji hitting the suicide dive during the entrance of Kaito Kiyomiya.
And holy shit.
Big man
I
like that
thought
doing it.
he broke the guy.
Yes, yes, like shit. Kaito ends up reversing a suplex. It's a chop block, and then Tsuji comes back with a beautiful tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, like almost as good as Ospreay's backbreaker, but like really good. Kaito Kiyomiya is working over the knee, hits a jumping elbow drop to the knee, then ends up rifling it into the post. Kiyomiya's drop kick kind of rivals Okada's. I'm gonna say it. It's smooth. It looks good. He gets good height. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Great running head scissors by Tsuji. Like, guy's got his lucha skills are on point, man.
Good. For a guy his size, too, he's a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
240 pounds, man.
Mm-hmm. And tall too. So like for him to do
Yeah.
flying head scissors like that, it looks good.
Hmm.
Kiyomiya hits a dragon screw, and then he applies the KG Mudo figure four, as commentary said. And Tsuji ends up suffering in it for a while before he ends up getting the ropes. This is
Hmm.
and they when he gets the break, this is where you hear them call the 10-minute pass. Again, it just happened right as they did the break, so I wrote it down. There's that weird little thing there. But again, these two really working together really well. Tsuji ends up flips through the tiger suplex, like landing on his feet. So Kaito ends up hitting strikes, but Tsuji ends up hits this sick looking headbutt, just like ugh. And they both end up dropping. I'm just like, ah,
Hmm.
headbutts are getting gross, and
Yeah.
we do not need another cat story Shibata incident,
No,
man. We
sir.
really. In the end, though, really sloppy curb stomp by Tsuji. Like it looked rough, like rough in a bad way, not in a rough and like, oh, that looked like it hurt way.
Yeah.
And he ends up trying to go for the gory special, but Kaito Kiyomiya slips out
Hmm.
into the Dragon Rana for 2. Then he follows it up with a Jumbo Saruta style knee and hits this Tiger Suplex bridge, but can only get 2. So Kaito hits his half and half driver and hits the Shining Wizard and gets the win. Again, great debut from both these guys. I thought Kiyomiya really stepped it up here, and
Hmm.
Tsuji looked like an absolute monster. But like Kaito had like he looked like the dude that who's been doing this longer. He's younger, but he's been doing it longer. Yeah.
Um, you said a lot of what I had, so I just got to go through the list. um, you mentioned there was a backbreaker by Tsuji, or sorry, by Kaito and Tsuji, but there was also a heckin' great backbreaker from Tsuji to Kaito that just looked hella rough. You're absolutely right. Tsuji was an absolute beast in this. He kind of came out the gate again. The barricade spot at the beginning there, where Kaito was just kind of pain angeled across the barricade. It just yeah, it looks so yucky. Another thing also to note about Kaito, the height that he gets from that standing elbow drop that he does is just absolutely incredible. Again, something Okada is also known for doing and having a tremendous height in. It's like little doppelgangers. Um, there was also a combo that Tsuji did, the head scissor shoulder block body slam combo. Just absolutely everything that Tsuji was in one sequence of events, where he's got that lucha style, but he's also got that just raw power, but also does some cool moves. Because I thought his body slam looked pretty solid. Yeah, they pretty much just beat the hell out of each other. There's one point I'm gonna put the picture in here where Kaito came up, and I was like, he looks like a goddamn hedgehog. His hair was just standing out in every direction. It made me giggle. It kind of brought the intensity, because at this point I was on the edge of my seat watching this match. It kind of broke the tension for me, let me laugh a little, let me relax again a little before we got into the finish, which was literally right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got to say on this one. I was happy with the results regardless, because I picked both of those
you had both in your fantasy. So I think what you came out with like 6 points on that show.
I think so. I'm not sure.
After the first show, you had 6 points, and then you moved to. Then I ended up in first on the second night, and I'm still in first after the third night. So,
hey,
check out the Boris and Matt their BAM Facebook page, where you can see the updates from our little fantasy draft we put out last week. You can see the updates on the BAM Facebook page. So yeah, and I might start copying and pasting it to our page. I'm not sure.
You should probably do that. Yeah,
I might do that. But we move on to what was my match of the night. Like, goddamn. So I just started out. Elevated. I love that he's coming back out to Elevated. I love the other song. I know you weren't a big fan of it, but coming out to Elevated again. He coming out. Kingpin's back. Looks beautiful with that. Looking beautiful with that U.S. title around his waist, right where it belongs.
That Moody Booty Ospreay back.
No, it's so good, and he's got the new tights on, brand new tights, looking just
black looks tight.
It's like a dark gray or something. It looked really good.
It's like gray, but there's a lot of black on it. It looks great.
Look really good. Great forearm battle to start the match. Taichi adds in the kicks and boots and ends up booting Ospreay to the floor off the apron. Ospreay attacks Taichi on the floor, runs him into the barricade, then and he ends up going over the barricade. Ospreay beating Taichi in the crowd, or beats him, like whether they're beating him up and they fight into the crowd, tosses him into the chairs, hits a DDT on the floor, heads back to the ring. As Taichi gets in, Ospreay hits a coast-to-coast drop kick. It's like so good. And sending Taichi back to the floor. And then he gets him up on the apron and hits a cutter off the apron to the floor.
Yeah.
Just beating the shit out of him, being super cocky. As he goes over to the timekeeper's table, he grabs the timer, and it's at about 6.5 minutes. He says, 6.5 minutes. I'm gonna make you suffer, bruv. And you can. This is where Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton like, whoa, just get him back in there and end this thing. If you're this far ahead, just end it. Because he ends up getting a pin, and like he comes back in, he gets a pin, but it's a very like lackluster pin. Like he almost wants Taichi to kick out after he hit the backbreaker, and then he hits a spinning backbreaker across, and he still only gets 2. Taichi ends up catches Ospreay's on the back handspring, but Ospreay ends up flipping through the backdrop, hits the PK to the back, then hits like a Falcon Arrow driver, but gets a 2 count. Taichi blocks the Stormbreaker, but Ospreay gets the Kawada kicks and the chops, but Taichi ends up kicking Ospreay in the side of the head. And this is where everything kind of turned for Ospreay. Because it kicked him right, like the way they sold it, he kicked him right in the ear, like fucking up his equilibrium and everything. So you can see him like sloppily moving around. He ends up going up to the top, but can't hold his balance. He has to come back down. And the ref's gonna like stop it at one point because of how fucked up he is. But he's like, no, don't do that. And this is kind of where I think it's around this time where it comes back because Taichi ends up going for the dangerous backdrop, but Ospreay does get the Chelsea grin, which is that spinning forearm to the back of the head. So he gets Kawada kicks. Taichi stands up to him, and Ospreay offers his head for the Kawada kicks. And this is, I think, really where he fucked up. And then gets his own, but then Taichi gets the hook kick. The pants come off, and he gets the buzzsaw kick, and it rattles Ospreay, but Ospreay does come back hitting the lariat. Taichi stops an Os cutter and tosses Ospreay over to the top, but he still hits it or tosses him over top of him. But he still ends up hitting an Os cutter. But it takes him too long to crawl over and get the 2 count or get the pins. He gets the 2 count there. Ospreay ends up missing a hidden blade, and Taichi gets the Gamengiri. And then Ospreay blocks another one, hits the hidden blade to the face of Taichi. But Taichi like gets his hand on the ropes to break the pin. Like these two are just murdering each other. Again, they've had a couple great matches already this year, and this is just taking up another notch. Taichi reverses the Stormbreaker into the Gato clutch for 2. Hook kick by Ospreay, but then Taichi hits the Axe Bomber, and then Ospreay hits that rolling elbow, and it's it's solid, man. Super Os cutter off the top. It gets stopped by Taichi, and Taichi ends up whacking away on the back of the head of Ospreay, just smashing him in the back of the head. And then they go up, and he hits a super dangerous backdrop. And he hits an Axe Bomber to follow it up, and then the bridging dangerous backdrop, but only gets 2. Ospreay ends up slipping up Black Mephisto. It hits a backdrop, but Taichi gets a super kick when Ospreay goes for the hidden blade. And then he hits Black Mephisto, and he pins Ospreay. Holy shit. Yeah. Like, it makes me a little sad that Ospreay didn't win the first match of the tournament, but I had Taichi, and he got me 2 points.
That's true. It is true. I have nothing else to add to this. You pretty much said everything that I did have on my list. This was an incredible match. I agree. This was kind of a match of the night for me. If Tsuji and Kaito wasn't already.
Yeah, there's 3 matches on this show that I put in that. It's Shota and Narita with that draw. It was one of the best draws I've ever seen. At least shorter time limit draws that I've ever seen. Yeah, you got Tsuji and Kaito Kiyomiya had a banger, and this was just off the charts. Again, those are the top 3 matches I think on this show. I don't think even the main event. I don't think anybody can argue that those were the top 3. And I put this one at the top. Again, there's bias that it is Ospreay, and it is Taichi, and Taichi got me 2 points out of this. Like, there's a bias, but I really did think this was absolutely tremendous.
I agree.
And now Taichi has a reason to challenge Ospreay for the U.S. title. It's true, he does. I'm down to see them go again. These two have
100%.
But
just don't know if I want to see Taichi as the U.S.
No. He's not going to win the title. He's just going to challenge for it and lose. Come on.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Come on. So we move on to the main event. It's Sanada versus the Hickey Man, Hikuleo.
Hickey Man.
Sanada coming out without the robe on tonight. I'm very okay with that because I don't like his robe.
No, he kind of it looks like a waterbender, and that's just not what it is. I'm not entirely sure that he knows what he is, but like at some point he has to remember he's champion.
I always thought he was an earthbender, but
you goof. Yeah, this match I didn't take a lot of notes for this one.
I
So I'll
took a
just.
few. I don't take as much as I did. He ends up starting fast, but Sanada stops the power slam. Gets the O'Connor roll. Again, these guys are going really good back and forth. Lots of
Mhm,
hard kicks,
mhm,
chops from Hikuleo early on. Sanada rolling out, but Hikuleo, or they end up rolling out, and Hikuleo runs Sanada into the barricade. He
mhm,
gives him some hard chops on the floor. Hikuleo goes to lawn dart Sanada into the post, but Sanada ends up pushing him into the post, then into the barricade. And this is where Kevin Kelly says, "They knocked my monitor over." And then he goes, "Oh man, that's a really durable monitor." So obviously it didn't break. I was just like, it's those weird little lines that I pick up on, and I love it.
Oh,
Um,
Kevin, we love you.
yeah, Hickey reverses and runs Sonata into and over the barricade. They get back in, and they're like going back and forth with the suplexes, the drop kicks, the everything. And then at one point, Sonata low bridges Hikuleo over the top, hits a drop kick to knock him off the apron, hits the plancha to the floor. Um, Hikuleo ends up catching a Sonata on a moonsault out of the corner and hits the Snake Eyes into the corner, followed by the lariat. Very Undertaker style right there, because that was one of Undertaker's Snake Eyes and lariat. I really like that.
Mhm,
And followed up with a suplex, but only gets a 2 count. Sonata ends up like there was one spot he went for the choke slam and Sonata slips it and hits his beautiful shining wizard.
mhm.
I love that.
So good.
Um, Hikuleo hits the Oklahoma Stampede slam, and then reverses Deadfall into a power slam. So the ending comes. Deadfall's reverse into a German that Sonata ends up flipping through and landing on his feet. And Sonata tries a Frankensteiner, but Hikuleo gets the power bomb. And I'm thinking, oh my god, are they going to have Hikuleo beat the champion here? I'm like, oh Jesus. And he goes for the choke slam, but Sonata ends up sliding out into Deadfall, hits it, and picks up the win. Again, like I was like, holy shit, what are they about to do here? Like I really wasn't sure. I had a feeling nothing was it was going to be Sonata, but then again, Sonata got me 2 points.
Yeah, yeah. Well, of course, the world champion is kind of a guaranteed high point
Mm-hmm.
person in the G1. They'd be a pretty crap champion if they were losing. Sorry. um, that being said, um, I actually felt that Hikuleo put on a really good show against the champion tonight. I felt that they both kind of brought the best out of each other for this kind of main event. It wasn't the most like I wouldn't consider it a 5-star match, but I would still consider it a pretty high rated match, like at least
Mm-hmm.
4. They put on a really solid performance. Hikuleo just keeps getting better and better and better and better. And against the world champion, you need to look good. I felt that they both looked tremendous.
Yeah, I thought they did a really, really, really good job here.
Mhm.
Hikuleo, I think that's one of his best. And not, and I know we were pretty low on him a while back, but like he's really improved, and this I think is his
Mhm.
best performance to date. Man, he looked really, really good here.
100%.
So quickly we'll go over it. Sanada, Chase Owens, and Kaito Kiyomiya. That's a block. That's a 3 names I didn't think I'd see. Well, one of those names I didn't think I'd see as one of the guys who got the win on tonight, and that's Chase Owens. Because again, I love the guy, but it's David Finlay, right?
I mean,
No,
you
no, no.
know,
Sorry,
those
not
young
David
boys
Finlay. It was
though.
Gabe
What
Kidd.
doesn't
It was Gabe.
matter.
It was Gabe Kidd. I wasn't expecting Gabe Kidd to lose his first one, but then you got Ren Narita and Shota Umino, each with 1 point, and then you got Tsuji, Hikuleo, and Gabe Kidd with 0 points. Move over to the B block. You have Kazuchika Okada, Yoshi-Hashi, Taichi, and Tanga. That's the name I didn't expect out of any of them to be in the win column after the first night. All
Mhm.
with 2 points. And you have Kenta, Great O'Connor, Will Ospreay, and El Phantasmo with 0 points. So,
Mhm.
yeah. We move on to night 2, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have my notes up. There we go. There's my notes. I gotta be more prepared. Um, it starts off Tomohiro Ishii versus David Finlay. I thought these two did a pretty darn good job starting this show out. David Finlay, I know the picture looks weird. I had to stretch it out. I know it looks weird, but yeah, they have a really good strike exchange early after Ishii drops Finlay, and after Ishii drops Finlay, He ends up no selling Finlay strikes, and he unloads on Finlay, on him in the corner, dropping him into the corner. Uh, excuse me, sorry about that. Finlay gets a chop block, works over the knee of Ishii, and that really was his target for the rest of the match. I will say,
100%. I agree.
Ishii gets some vicious forearms and strikes to beat the crap out of Finlay. Again, really good. There's a superplex, beautiful superplex by Ishii off the top, but he only gets a 2 count out of it. The
You see what happened
headbutt,
with the ref when he did that? He popped real good.
yeah, the
Loved it.
headbutts by Ishii in this match were just like, ugh. But again,
Mm.
I don't like. I'm used to seeing throw headbutts, so again with him, I'm not as worried. I don't feel like as worried as what other guys because he does it regularly, and he seems to have that stone pitbull head.
I
So
mean, he has no neck. Kind of
yeah,
helps.
yeah. Well, if you seen pictures, if you go to the G1 or you see pictures of Ishii when he was young, he had a neck. He used to have a neck.
I don't believe it.
You saw the picture. You saw the picture when we did the
Photoshop.
G1. um, Forearms and a German by Finlay, and he finally hits a Dominator, but Ishii kicks out of that 2.99.
Mhm.
Ishii stops the spears, hits some sick forearms, like legitimately sick forearms, and then but Finlay hits the rebound spear, but again only gets a 2 count.
Mm.
Um, Ishii hits the power bomb with the stack of pin, but again only gets 2. Ishii lines up the lariat and Finlay blocks it, gets a headbutt, hits the blue thunder bomb for 2, then hits another power bomb. Ishii blocks the trash panda, not the Oblivion, the trash panda, and goes like with a head to head, like runs in spear like, but like go crashing head to head, and I'm like, oh, like Jesus. Um, head like a spear like head, but dropping Finlay. Ishii hits a sliding lariat for 2. Um, End of the match comes each trying to get a brainbuster, but Finlay hits a backpack stunner, and he hits the trash panda because he is a giant trash panda. It's not the Oblivion. That is Liv Morgan's move. It is the trash panda, and he gets the win. Again, very good opener.
Mr. Finley, please don't kill us. Just kill Andre.
Oh no, no, it's Liv's name. It's not yours.
So the only you said everything except for one thing, which is good. Um, what's that thing that Lance Archer does where he like just runs into people?
Oh, beating up young lions.
Well, that too, but like when he comes off the ropes and just runs into you
Like
and
I
yeets you wherever you end up.
oh, the pounce.
The pounce?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that's what it was called. I just called it a hit and run because that's literally what it looked like to me. She just hit him and kept running.
Mm-hmm.
David Finlay got yeeted into the corner. I thought that was fabulous. It was a good sell, good spot. You're absolutely right. Ishii's knee was the story in this one, and they just beat the holy heckin' crap out of each other. It was great.
And the
I hate
pounce
headbutts.
And the Pounce, the name comes from a guy named Monty Brown, who Lance Archer used to work with in TNA wrestling back in the day. He's the one that started that move as a name. It was the Pounce, and that's kind of been the name called it since. So yeah.
Hmm, interesting.
Move on. Second match of the night. This happened. Toriano with Tomukin uh, versus Hirooki Goto. Yano comes out with a nightmare-inducing mascot called Tomukin. Fuck, that will haunt me forever. That's exactly what I
You
wrote.
know, one of your girls, irrational fears is mascots. That thing does not help. Like, I'm sitting there like, I want to go to Japan, but if that's what you guys have standing outside greeting people at your food places, I am going to starve to death.
I'll go in and get you food. Don't worry.
Just distracted while I sneak in.
Yeah. So this is very much a Yano match. Yano doing a lot of his goofy shit, trying to pulling the corner pads off, doing this goofy shit while Goto's like just beating him up when he can.
Mm.
Yano whips Goto into the barricade a couple times. Yano shoves Goto under the ring, sends Tomokin under, then he follows, and then the ref follows. and you can hear like slamming around under the ring. So the ref comes out, then Yano rolls out, then Goto comes out with the head of Tomokin on it, and then this is where Kevin Kelly again. Kevin Kelly is just a fucking godsend. Kevin Kelly said it's Tomokin wearing a Hirooki Goto bodysuit.
Bless
But
you,
then
Kevin.
he takes the head off, and they're both him and Chris like, oh my god, it's Hirooki Goto. Just like, and then Kevin's like, is Hirooki Goto Tomokin? And he's like, no, Kevin. It was so good.
Those two were just hilarious. I love them.
Yano runs Goto into exposed corner, gets a roll up for 2. Leg lariat in the corner, and the bulldog by Goto gets 2. Yano hits the reverse atomic drop, whips Goto into the exposed corner, and he tries to go for his power bomb, but can't get it. But he gets a takedown into a couple pins. But Goto blocks the low blow attempt, and he blocks the other low blow attempt. He hits some headbutts again. Why all the headbutts? Hits the GTR and picks up the win. And then after the match, Tomokin emerges from under the ring, and Yano is like apologizing to Tomokin.
As he should. He was clearly violated and decapitated underneath that ring. I mean, things scary as crap, but it didn't deserve to have his head cut off.
Yeah.
Nah. The Irish whip spot that they did outside was hilarious, where they just kept reversing. It was like ring around the rosy,
It's like both get like winded.
Yeah, dizzy. Yeah,
so good.
That was funny. The fast start was also really funny to me, where it was very apparent, as they said on commentary, Goto was trying to maybe try to pin Yano and break the record for the shortest match in G1 history. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, this was just. I kept saying bruh, the whole match. I was bruv. Yes, bruv. Yeah, this one was definitely a comedy match, but it was actually a nice little kind of breath of fresh air. Maybe not in the right place for the show for me. Because it was like a lighter style match, and the first, like the opening match, wasn't too intense. Like it was intense, but not too intense that I would need that breath of fresh air. Maybe it would have been better coming in between the next match and the match after.
That's what I was going to say. I think the third match should have been second. This should have been third. It would have been great, because then this next match is really
intense,
but I'm also going, why would you do that to your face? But yeah, it's Mikey Nicholls, Team DK's Mikey Nicholls versus United Empire's Mr. Aaron Henare.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the tattoos are part of his heritage, but like, just like Cody Rhodes, he must not have any friends talking about doing that, because I it's also me. I'm not part of his culture, but I think that and I understand it's a cultural thing, but I personally think that that look is dumb. I'm not saying he shouldn't have it. I'm not saying anything like that. I just don't like it. I think it's dumb. I think most tattoos are dumb. Again, I'm not a tattoo person, but yeah.
That's fair. To each their own. I personally found it pretty hot. But it's also a very intricate design. I like those intricate design kind of tattoos. I'm excited for him in that they usually kind of start off small and start to grow. So it is an interesting placement for them to start with, but I'm interested to also see where he goes with it, because it's almost like a kind of like a journey as they kind of get them on there. Moving on though.
God damn, these two had a brawl, man. They're brawling. They brawl to the floor. Henare's whipping Nicholls over the barricade. Hits the jumping headbutt. Again, more headbutts. And the kick, and we'll talk about headbutts in this match. Trust me. Gets a kick against the barricade, and they're just Nicholls ends up coming back, firing back. Back in the ring, pop-up Samoan by Henare. Snapmare and kicks to the back and chest by Henare, and hits that beautiful senton that he does.
Mm-hmm.
Henare gets an SDF like style, and then like gets the FDF leg cross and grabs the arm, pulls up, and curb stomps the head of Nicholls. Nicholls misses a lariat, but he ends up scoring with a DDT. Nicholls then gets the lariat in the corner and gets the tornado DDT out of the corner. A little bit sloppy on that tornado DDT.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't be the only sloppy thing in this match. I'm going to say that. Nicholls puts Henare up on top. He goes up to the superplex, but Henare blocks him and headbutts him off the top. But then Nicholls comes back, hard slaps Henare, climbs up and hits the superplex.
Mm-hmm.
Like straight up off the top rope. They're both standing on the top rope.
Rough.
It looked a little rough. They trade, and then this is where they're on their knees. And they start trading legit head-to-head headbutts, and I'm like, Katsura Shibata, people, fuck. And Nicholls ends up getting busted open, and then they're trading strikes, and they each try Germans, but Henare ends up hitting the spine buster on Nicholls into the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Henare slips slips out of the way of the sliding lariat, or like a running low lariat. I don't know. It's not really a sliding lariat, but it's kind of the best I can call it. And hits an uppercut and applies the Ultima, but Nicholls ends up getting to the ropes. Nicholls hits the Death Valley Driver, then his version of a sliding lariat to Henare, but only gets 2.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholls climbs to the top, but misses a moonsault. A hard slap by Henare and a knee to the face, and then another knee to the face in the corner. And then this part was like fudge. The end. Nicholls picks up Henare, goes for a move, but Henare seems to like slip off, and he lands on his head. And Kevin Kelly says he was going for what his new finisher is called, the Master Blaster. Shout out to Old School Gaming right there. And he does get the win here, but I really hope Henare's okay, man. I think he is. From all reports, he's okay. But yeah.
I was gonna say he's pretty active on his social medias. I haven't seen anything but pictures of the match in the last day or so. So,
and if he was out of the tournament, I think New Japan would have announced by now. Because as we sit 100%. Here, we're just a few hours away from Night 4 happening. The Night 4 show happening. So I would think they would have already announced it by now if he was
100%. 100%. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the headbutts, and this was really what kind of pushed me over the edge was the couple headbutts, and he's suddenly bleeding. I'm like, bro, you got kids. Think the kids. I mean, Henare wants to be that dumb. Let him be that dumb. But like, just keep your brain fully to itself. Avoid those things. So you do enough things with the Mikey bomb and all the other stuff that you're doing, taking the hits on the outside and all that. Protect your brain, please. And
like every wrestler, protect your brain, man.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I don't know. Like it did look like there wasn't quite a full rotation that there was supposed to be on that, and he just kind of landed really funny again. I was also like, Yoza. Did not know how to react to that one, but yeah, it was a thing.
So, TMDK 1-0 so far on the night. United Empire 0-1 on the night so far. Again, they went 1 and United Empire went 1-1 on the night before. So we move on to the next match, and TMDK's back. Are you looking at the face of Coughlin?
The both of them, I can't decide which one looks more ridiculous.
So we got Shane Hayes with Kosei Fujita versus the. I'm
sorry.
You just snorted.
I know, because I was. Look at this guy.
At least like Shane Hayes looks somewhat normal, where Coughlin just looks like he's going to murder people. Shane Hayes just looks like he might fart. I don't know.
He looks like he already did, and he's waiting for you to smell it.
Yeah, but at least it's just like, okay, I farted. But like Coughlin looks like I'm going to murder you.
He looks like he smelt it
and eat you after. I don't know. So Yeah, Shane Hayes versus Styles Coggin. Shane Hayes recently getting married on his social media, getting married within the last month. So good,
Oh,
congratulations to
congrats.
him. So he gets married, makes his G1 debut, puts his hat on Kosei Fujita. He puts the orange hat on
Dang.
Kosei Fujita. I
So
love that.
cute.
Uh, Coughlin is smashing Hayes into the corner and then yeets him across the ring with that follow-away slam. Like Shane Hayes
Yeah.
ended up on the other side. The commentary insinuates here that with Aussie Open signing with AEW, that's the reason Fletcher isn't in the G1. Which he said that opened up new spots in the G1, and then they bring up Tom Lawler not getting a chance this year, not coming back, and Fred Rosser not getting his shot. But again, they do say Fred Rosser, his father did pass away, so condolences to Fred Rosser and his
Oh, that's sad.
family on losing his father. I'm sorry to hear about that again. I'm in that club, so I understand where the man's coming from. So I hope I hope his family heals well. I really do. But yeah, we get back in the match. Haste gets a beauty of a drop kick. His drop kicks are on point, man. Like he's got like that arc he gets, like that arc that he has when he's doing the
Mhm.
drop kick looks so good.
Mhm.
Um, Haste catches he hits a drop kick and Hayes catches the rope on the suicide. Like he goes for the suicide dive, but his feet like get tangled in the rope, and Coggin legitimately saves him. Like
Mhm.
Coggin was in the perfect position to catch Hayes. He catches him, gets him down, and then he just grabs him, belly to bellies him over his head. Like it
Mhm.
kind of worked in the sense that I think it would have been different on the outside if Hayes had hit the suicide dive properly, but
Mhm.
Coggin had great instinct to grab him, hug him up, and toss him because it looks
Mhm.
like he stopped the suicide dive almost and yeeted him across. Again, he had really good instinct there, I thought.
Mhm.
Or
I
maybe
agree.
he was supposed to catch him either way. We don't know. But again, there was a mess up, but he kind of saved Shane because Shane Hates would have landed on his head on the floor if it wasn't for Coughlin, 100%.
Mhm.
Um,
100%.
Hayes backdrops Coughlin across the apron. Hayes goes to the top, but gets knocked off, and Coughlin goes up or gets knocked off the top to the apron. Coughlin goes up to the top, grabs Hayes around the waist, and deadlifts him from the apron. But Hayes did not hop. You could see there was no assistance. He just like it was this motherfucker showing off his crazy ass strength, his
Mhm.
Claudio ass strength, and just lifts him up and yeets him across the ring again with a gut wrench off the top. The trading slaps. Coggin goes to whip him, but Hayes gets a beautiful backdrop and then a reverse power slam, setting up the PK. Beautiful German by Coughlin, and the Death Valley driver is hit, and Coughlin gets two. And this is where he gets on top of Hayes and starts strangling him. I'm just like, it was actually funny for a guy like him. I expect him to like strangle people. He just seems like he seems like a strangler.
Look at his face. Jesus Christ. Uh,
We get down to the end of the match. Coughlin runs Hayes into the barricade, tosses chairs into the ring, and slams Hayes' face like over the barricade into an announcer table, and then tosses him back in. Um, and then he goes and gets his title belt. So he gets in with his title belt. The ref takes the title belt away, and so the ref's turning and putting the belt in the corner. And this is where Hayes pops up, grabs Coughlin and hits him with a Saito suplex onto the chair, then hits the gets him up on the shoulder, fireman carry into a Uranagi. Shane Haste, I picked him. He got the win.
I know you beat me on that because I picked Coughlin in
I
honor of
did.
Astrid, though. Because goodness, girl, we need to have a conversation.
Okay, look at the arm of Coughlin. Look at the vein
It's
there.
very vascular. Very
Jesus.
vascular. Relatable. I get the same thing when I do arm day. Come on now.
Oh, you do. You do. But fuck. Like, I think that's guy's every day his arms look like that.
I mean, but like one of my notes here, though, man, seeing Shane Haste in the ring with Coughlin really showed me how tall Shane Haste is. Because Alex Coughlin's a big guy, but like he almost seemed a little dwarfed.
Mhm.
by Shane Haste. So like, holy hot shit. There was a deadlift gut rich suplex from the second rope.
Yeah, that's the one I talked where he just pulls him
Yeah,
up from the
yeah.
apron, just yeets him. That was
It,
crazy.
effortless.
Mhm.
He made it look so effortless. Also, the German that Coughlin did on Haste, it almost looked like it hesitated. Like he got up there and it was just like, "Ee." Like when you get to that point of the roller coaster when you're upside down and you have that moment of like pause before you are then thrown to your death.
Like
That's what it
Watto,
kind of felt like.
like Watto with the high angle German. He's up
Yeah,
and then he comes back with it. Yeah.
yeah. There was like that nice kind of hesitation in there. I really really liked. That's all I had on this one.
Yeah, again, awesome match. I thought Shane
Mhm.
Hayes did such good job. So did Coughlin. Then I'm also,
So
I'm
does
also a
this
really
mean
big
that
Shane Hayes fan. So
NDK can now potentially challenge for the strong championships?
I guess so. I'd be okay with that. I'm okay with War Dogs versus TMDK for those belts. I really am.
Because I don't know who Chase could challenge with unless Polly comes back.
Bring in Tony Kazina.
I mean, that would just not go very well, regardless, right? That'd be faction within faction. I think that would cause some issues.
Gabe Kidd doesn't seem to care. I don't think. He smashes his own. He smashes his own teammates with chairs. So
It's true.
we move on to what was probably the best Eddie Kingston match I've watched since I started watching Eddie Kingston, because this match was actually quite good.
Hmm.
Like I'll admit, Kingston needs to keep his arm his tights up and not like down just below his nipples. Like either bring them down to where your pants are, like to that length, or just keep it on. They don't need to be right below your nipples. I really just like
I
Jonah
think
with his
that level
nipples
shit.
pop. Jonah with his nipples popping out last year. Just I was just like, and so if
It's
him just with his
ridiculous.
nipples just hanging out, I'm just like, I get it, but you kind of have a bit of moobs. And I got Takagi doesn't have a shirt on, but he's got like hard pecs. You've got moobs, dude. You either keep them covered up or just let them fly everywhere. Don't just have them right below your nipples. It was really weird.
Did he maybe bring it down for that chop battle that they had in the front
He
there?
did, but then pull it back up after. Okay, like I'll admit this. I'm not again. I've said it multiple times, and you're not a huge fan of Kingston either.
Mm-mm.
But god damn, like these two beat the shit out of each other. I
Oh
will
yeah.
say this: I don't like Kingston's speed chops. I don't think speed chops in the corner not quite fast enough, but they land. Like the chops
Mhm.
are landing, but
Yeah.
he's just like it doesn't seem fast enough. It's like Kojima still does it faster. Like other guys do it quicker. Again, but
Hmm. Hmm.
his chops in this, him and Takagi had a goddamn chop fest in on this match.
Hmm.
They beat the living piss out of each other with
Yeah.
the chops, the both hitting spinning back fists, the shoulder blocks. It just like you should just this was a brawl more than a
Hmm.
wrestling match. It was a brawl. The headbutt,
Hmm.
like Eddie calling out Shingo's name and Shingo coming across and headbutting Eddie in the corner. I'm like, God damn it! Like
Hmm.
Christ, man. Um, it just and then like Kingston gets this like hard palm strike to Shingo after that. It was just they're
Hmm.
exchanging lariats. Kingston did actually hit a really nice half and half suplex, but then
Hmm.
Nakagi pops up and hits him with this crazy lariat. They're both down. It's just two guys just beating the piss out of each other.
Hmm.
Um, Eddie or Takagi gets the spinning back elbow and hits Eddie Kingston's finish, the Northern Lights bomb.
Hmm.
But Eddie kicks out at one. He's like, "You're not going to beat me with my finisher." It was kind of very much reminiscent of Omega and Ospreay, with Ospreay hitting that one wing angel and Kenny kicking out at one.
Hmm.
Um, and then Takagi hits the pumping bomber, only gets two. Eddie ends up reversing Last of the Dragon. He hits his own version of a pumping bomber. And this is where Takagi's like, nope, and kicks out at one. Like, you're not
Hmm.
beating me. You can't. I can't beat you with your move. You're not beating me with mine. Again, really good back and forth there. The end of the match though comes Takagi with the elbows to the head, but Eddie ends up coming back with a spinning back fist. Then and then another. Takagi gets a strike, but then Eddie hits the spinning back fist again, picks him up. Northern Lights bomb. Eddie Kingston beats Shingo Takagi. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because Eddie Kingston is kind of the guest. Him and Kiyomiya are the guest entrants in this tournament. So Kingston picking up the win here didn't surprise me.
It did surprise me. I could definitely think of someone better for Kingston to, get a win against, which is his next opponent, which is Evil. I'm going to be really freaking mad if Eddie Kingston gets a win over Evil.
Or gets a
Or no,
loss to Evil.
if Evil wins, if Evil beats Eddie Kingston,
But you want Evil to win for more points in the fantasy tournament. You picked them.
I know, but you got to look at it from how I'm looking at it. That's a former IWGP champion there. He held that title in arguably the worst time period of NJPW in the recent decade, which was COVID. Then he established the KOPW championship. He made that something worth having. And now Taichi is able to walk around with it proudly. Not just because of the work Taichi did, but because of all the hard work Takagi did elevating that championship.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost against Eddie Kingston. And it wasn't even for a bad reason either, because you said they beat the shit out of each other. They had a tremendous match. But I definitely didn't see Eddie Kingston taking the win on this one. I'm kind of disappointed. But goddamn, does he sell like a motherfucker?
Oh, he's very I'm not this. I think this tournament is going to slowly build me into an Eddie Kingston liker, not a fan, but I'm going to like him by the time this tournament is over. If he keeps having matches like this with people, I think I'm going to like him. I'm not going to be a big fan of him, but I'm just going to like him more than I do now. Because he's got David Finlay, he's got Mikey Nicholls, he's got Evil, he's got Ishii, and they have had a war in the past that was very good. He's got Tanga, which I think that could be a absolutely tremendous match. And Aaron Henare.
Quick.
And then Aaron Henare, who, again, it's going to be very similar to this. It's going to be two guys beating the piss out of each other. So he's got, at least two more beat the piss out of each other matches with Ishii and Henare. Finlay, it can go any which way when he faces Finlay. That could be, and I think that's going to be another beat the piss out of each other match. So, there's some interesting things. And I think, weirdly, I think Eddie Kingston could turn me around a bit on him. Not to make me a full-fledged fan, but to have a little more, be like, oh, let's check out an Eddie Kingston match if it's on there. I won't be looking going, patience. Yeah. But yeah, again, I thought these two kicked ass. Kicked a lot of ass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We move on to my match of the night on night 2. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr. I didn't have high hopes going into this because I just watched Tanahashi at Forbidden Door limp around.
Yeah.
I don't know if he took his go back in time juice, but he looked like when he walked to the ring, he looked a little like he was like the walk looked a little like he struggled. But once that bell rang, man, this dude turned it the fuck on. But his new gear and with the arm things,
so interesting.
I know why he has it. I think it's to cover up the amount of tape that he's probably taped on his shoulders and his elbows. I'm pretty sure it's covering up tape. Like the kinesio tape. I have a feeling he's got a bunch of that on his shoulders. Because
I really hope not, but it would make sense, strategically speaking.
Because has he ever worn that before?
No, it's becoming trendy. We're starting to see across certain.
Well, yeah, the guy, who are those dudes in that just came up from NXT? Pretty deadly, pretty deadly. They wear that. They wear a version of
similar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I feel like I've seen. There's someone who I've seen on Dark Sheik's promotion there in Vegas who also wears something similar to that.
Not sure. But yeah, my match of the night, it's Hiroshi Tanahashi, Zack Sabre Jr., these guys. The new gear for Tanahashi looked absolutely, the maroon gear looked absolutely tremendous.
So good.
Yeah. And Kosei Fujita walking out holding that towel. I might need to add another one to my collection, a TMDK towel to my collection, have like banners hanging on either side of me. Because goddamn, that towel looked good.
Oh dear, oh dear.
So
Going
Mel,
into
that's
bankruptcy for NJPW merch.
fuck. There's a Donna Del Mundo shirt I want to order too.
It's $50.
No, it's like $80 for the Donna Del Mundo long sleeve.
Oh, you wanted the long sleeve? My goodness.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
trust me. The Julia Mina Shirakawa shirts don't go up to my size. It makes me sad.
They can just go on the wall. You can look at them.
I know, but I want to wear a Mina Shirakawa or a Julia shirt. Come on. But but hey, I might take a Don Del Mundo shirt. Come on.
Yeah.
hints to everybody out there if you want to send me a present.
Tell us what you
Yeah,
liked about this match, sir.
don't send me presents, please. Jason, do not send me presents. I'm not joking. I'm serious, Jason. Tana's technical slip out of the head scissors, like the transition out was really good. Like he had that rolling, technical rolling, but then Saber getting around and doing the front flip out of the head scissors.
Mm-hmm.
And he yells at Kevin Kelly, "I haven't done that in 10 years." But it was great. This was a very technical back and forth, like early on with Tana, really working a Saber style. We're trying to work technical. He's working the got a triangle at one point. The hyperextending the arm, doing the hyperextending of the arm that Saber does, working over Saber's arm, but Saber then's working the knees of Tanahashi, really working the knees. I thought they did a really good. You got Tana with the short arm scissor, and Saber can't work his way out of it, so he has to go to the ropes. Which Saber's known for working his way out of submissions that other people put him in, and he had to go to the ropes, which he doesn't usually do. Again, I really like that. I like the story they told here. Tana comes in, but Saber starts pulling out dragon screw leg whips to Tanahashi and really working over that knee, really turning that knee up with the the leg twist and stuff. Saber's kicking Tana while he's down, but Tana gets up and starts taking the kicks to the chest. Then he starts throwing elbows and uppercuts. Again, great spot there. Tana goes up but gets stopped with a double wrist lock. Tana goes up but is stopped, but he gets like a double wrist lock on the top. Then slams Saber and it's a really rough looking senton. I know Jeff Hardy changed up the way he'll now just land onto people, kind of saving himself now because he took a lot of damage to his back for years, hitting it on the upper back, like Wardlow does. I think Tanahashi has now gone to the Jeff Hardy style. I'm going to save my back when I do sentons and just thwomp down on people. It looked rough as fuck.
It did. It did.
Saber turning the sling blade into the Cobra Twist, but Tana reverses into his own Cobra Twist, but Saber reverses into his own Cobra Twist. Then Tana flips out and gets a hip toss, goes for the sling blade, but gets drop kicked in the knee. Again, great sequence between these guys. They're doing so well. Saber catching a kick from the corner, hits the dragon screw, then twists the leg, and even catches the kicks and tries to turn it into a clover reef, but Tana pulls him down and gets an arm triangle choke. Really good. And Saber ends up breaking it and snaps the leg. Tana turns a knee breaker into a twist and shout, hits repeated dragon screw arm whips, changing up his game. Tana gets the sling blade, only gets 2. He goes to the top, hits aces high, but Saber rolls through and hits a beautiful PK, but can only get 2. Tana ends up turning the Saber driver into the cross arm breaker, but Saber breaks it. But Tana then reapplies it, and Saber's trying to get out. So he stack pins Tanahashi, and he gets the win. Really, I thought a very different finish. I really liked it. And so before we, I want to just talk about what happened after the match. So he gets on. Saber gets on an English commentary. He says, "This is the only tournament he has left to win." but his new techno theme song, is been delayed because his DJ went to Berlin for the weekend and's been there for 3 months, and then he danced his toes off. It
Okay,
was
and
so fun. Saber's just humor. The way he plays with Kevin Kelly is great.
it is very endearingly hilarious. Yeah, I didn't actually have a ton to add to that. I knew this would be one that you are very high on because of your adoration, we'll say, for Zack Sabre Jr. there. Um, I was actually not surprised that Zack Sabre Jr. picked up the win on this. I love Tanahashi to death, and he's always guaranteed wins in the G1. Yes, I know you got 2 points.
Oh.
um, but yeah, this was a really fun match, and again, you're absolutely right. Tanahashi was definitely working a different style than he's usually used to. I think I'd like to see him kind of stick with that style. It seems a little less, we'll say,
Risky.
overwhelming on his body.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
and the announcers were talking about Tanahashi trying to adjust what he's doing for
Mhm,
his to save his body. They were talking about it throughout it on commentary.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, but we got two more matches to talk about. I went a little long on that one. I apologize.
Hey, it was a
We get
good
to
match worth talking about.
we get Tamatonga with Jado versus Eva with Dick Togo. This happened. Um,
Shenanigans.
oh, and to the previous match, TMDK went what 3 for 3 tonight. It's pretty
They
good.
sure did.
It's pretty good. But yeah,
Mhm,
this happened. Evil attacks before the bell as usual. Um, Evil's slamming Tama's face into the apron. Tama gets the 10 punches and finishes with that dusty elbow. Looked really good. The Dusty Rhodes
mhm, mhm,
bang. It looked good.
mhm.
Like Tama Tonga, for everything he did in this match, looked really good.
Yeah, yeah,
But
really
he,
good.
there was so much evil cheating, Evil and Togo. And this was the longest match of the night on top of it all. Um, I
Ugh.
don't recommend watching this match because it was not good. It wasn't like horrible, but there was just so much
There was too much.
extra fluff.
Mhm,
They expose the corner. They go to the outside. He suplexes them on the ramp, pulls the barricades apart, tosses them into the chairs in the crowd. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Togo and Jado are like facing off on the floor by the ring. That Evil gives Kevin Kelly a thumbs down. And then, so the ref's at like 13 or 14. And Evil just rolls at the ring, breaks the count of Tamatonga, who still hasn't even gotten out of the crowd yet, and rings the bell himself, ruining his count. And it did nothing by ringing the bell. And it was just stupid. It was just stupid. So the Evil gets back in, and Tamatonga makes it back in just before 20. And then so Eva goes for a pin, and the ref gets distracted by something in the crowd. And he's taking Evil's bullshit. He just turns around and looks into the crowd. Yeah. Tama gets a stinger splash in the corner.
mhm,
Evil's raking the eyes. They stop Tonga Twist, and they end up taking the ref out. And then they get Magic Killer. Like Togo takes out Jado. They do the Magic Killer, or they gang stomp Tama. The
mhm.
crowd's chanting in Japanese for Togo to go home. Magic Killer by Evil and Togo. Evil calls the ref, but he only gets one. He gets the Darkness Scorpion, but Tama does get to the ropes, but it takes a bit for Evil to break the hold. Um, yeah, the Supreme Flow off the top looked really good.
Mhm.
And he ended up hitting a beautiful Superman elbow at one point. The end of this comes. Evil calls for it to be over. Tries everything as Evil. Tama fights it off. Um, Evil hits the lariat, but Tama won't go down, so he hits some more lariats. He throws him in the exposed corner, but Tama comes back up with a lariat. He gun stuns Togo, hits Evil with Bloody fucking Sunday, but can only get two. So Tamatonga tries the J Driller, but Evil reverses, tosses him into the exposed corner, Evil like pushes the ref like slightly, stops the gun stun, hits a low blow, hits everything as Evil, and Evil takes the win. I got it more time than I felt like I should, but
I was gonna say you definitely read a lot more than I would have, and I'm getting 2 points out of it. Like, ah, gosh, diggity, dang it, frack, frukin'. I knew this shit was gonna happen, and I still picked the mofo.
mm-hmm.
Ugh, it just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth. So many shenanigans, so many shenanigans. Like, and then the magic killer. At that point, I was no longer invested in the match.
No.
Like as soon as they Togo got in there and actually pulled it off right this time, instead of having his hat tossed and his sunglasses yeeted halfway across his face. Um, yeah, as soon as they hit the magic killer, I was no longer invested. I was very annoyed. Um, they don't get to use that. Nay, nay. That's a God move.
Mm-hmm.
F off.
Actually, really,
Yeah,
it's a Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows move,
which was passed down to
but
God.
but it's still their move in the end. But yeah, that happened. That match happened, and
Yeah, it was a
okay,
thing. We saw it and it happened.
yeah. We move on. Main event of the evening. It's actually a really tremendous match between these
Yeah.
two. Naito puts the fist up at the beginning. Cobb does the hang
Aloha.
loose symbol, the aloha symbol.
Mhm.
Tonga's tossed out. They're again really good back and forth between the two of them. Naito working a cravat in the corner for a minute or two. Tries
Mhm.
combinacion, but Okada ends up catching him, but Naito ends up rolling him up. Um, again, and Cobb slips out and he gets a really nice drop kick. Really good.
Mhm.
Cobb does the dive to the floor, but then fakes it out and does the Naito pose. It was really good.
A little awkward, but really good.
But he did it with his aloha symbol instead of the fist. He used the aloha symbol when he did it.
Mhm. His thighs
Um,
are a little big to do the leg poses, though.
yeah, Cobb gets a double thrust to the throat and gets a 12-second delayed suplex, but onto Naito, but only gets two. Cobb then does his own combinacion cabron to Naito. Looked a little awkward, but he did it. It was yeah. For a big guy doing it,
Didn't they
he's not
call it
used to
something else on commentary?
Aloha de Cabron, Combinacion de Aloha, maybe? I don't remember. I didn't hear it, but I know
Combinacion del. I think they said Cobb. I think he just
de
said
Cobb. Yeah,
Cobb.
it's probably de Cobb. He did his own version of Combinacion Cabron. But yeah, it looked really good. Naito really good, really trying to fight back in here. Um, and then he goes for his combination. He hits him in the corner, flips over, but then he comes back over, but Cobb's like blocking. So
Mhm.
Naito waits. So it's the combination. Waits for Cobb to stop blocking the face. Cabron.
Cobb.
Yeah. I
Love
really
it.
like that there was a delay there, and then Cobb's like waiting, and he puts his hand down to check, and that's when he kicks him in the face. It was really good.
Nice little
Um,
mind game that Naito plays.
yeah, leg scissors full Nelson, but Naito, but Cobb stands up, lifting up Naito, but like Naito starts elbowing the back, elbows to the neck of Cobb. Cobb is collapsing in the corner. But again, I really like the power spot there, showing Cobb
Mhm.
just yanking him up. Naito puts Cobb up, goes for the Frank side, but Cobb just power bombs him off the top. Just like looked really good.
Mhm.
Ends up and then they ask the guy crawl over for the pin, and then he gets two, so he just pops up, hits standing moonsault, gets another two. Um, Naito goes for Gloria, but Cobb reverses into the spin cycle. Naito ends up blocking Toru the Island and attacks him and tries Destino, can't get it. So he hits a running Destino. Um, but then he tries Destino, but Cobb uh, hits a Tour of the Islands out of the Destino, but can't follow it up. Um, both men get up just in time to break the 10 count. Of an interesting draw right there.
Mhm.
And Nate gets a Koipa, I don't know how to say Koipa kick, and gets an atomic drop, hits the jackknife, and then he ends up reversing the Tour of the Islands into a pin and gets two. Um, Cobb gets a German suplex and another headbutt. Jesus Christ,
Mm-hmm.
this is a headbutt show. And then Cobb hits a beautiful tour of the islands. Gets the win. Jeff Cobb pins Naito.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This was not what I expected.
No.
I was surprised that Cobb picked up the win. Not that he didn't earn it. I mean, holy heck and shit. But like, given what Naito's age and everything, and his, I don't want to say lackluster kind of performance the last year, but like he's kind of been on the down low right now. He's kind of keeping quiet, not doing too much. I expected him to start off the G1 strong, and this was kind of like a he took the dive and there was no water in the pool kind of thing. Um, yeah, it was a fun match though. I mean, you pretty much said everything that I said. Cobb denying Naito's taunt, holding up the arm. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the pose, the combination Cabron, the reversing the Destino into the tour of the islands. Like, holy heck. Shiza. What a great main event. I
Yeah,
thought this was a really great main event.
a great way to end this show, honestly. A phenomenal way.
100%.
So quickly go over to C Block. It's Vince Fast, Finlay, Kingston, Nicholls, and Evil, each with 2 points. Takagi, Ishii, Tamatanga, and Henare with 0. Move to
Mm-hmm.
D Block. You have Saber, Haste, Cobb, Goto, all with 2 points. And then you have, Naito, Tanahashi, Coglin, and Yano with 0 points. Even the announcer said, it's very weird ending the first night of the G1 and Naito nor Tanahashi has any points. It's kind of true, man. They've been mainstays. Other than the year Naito went out, they're mainstays.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is true. Very strange. What did you want? This is shaping out to be. And it's
It
only
very
like
much
2
is.
nights in.
I can't wait. After the second night, I was in first in our little fantasy pool. You were tied for second. So I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we'll give out where we were in nights 3 and 4 when we talk about those on the next show. So
Yes, yes.
Yas Queen.
Yes, queen. Stash queen.
But again, absolutely phenomenal shows. I very much enjoyed them. And I
Mm,
want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining us here. We really do appreciate it. I want to thank you so much. If you could please like the video, subscribe down below to the channel, and comment. We'd love to hear from you guys. We want to talk New Japan, talk to G1. Tell us who you think is going to win the G1 this year. We'd really like to hear from you.
absolutely. Sorry, I didn't hear you end your sentence there. Andre, who do you think's going to win the G1? Take everything. Yes. My heart is still set on Kenta. I'm hoping that one day, if I keep
One day.
picking Kenta,
One day.
one day he'll win something of importance.
One day everybody will get sick and they'll have to win. They'll have to have him win the tournament.
Yay, Kenta. Bring
But
on the
we are going
pride.
to get out of here. So you can find me on Twitter, Mastodon, TikTok, Hive at that Canada guy, Instagram and Threads at that Canada dude. You can find me over at our local establishment doing Marvel Talk every Wednesday. This Wednesday and next Wednesday we'll be doing the finale with myself, Ed. We have 2 special guests we have been talking to about coming on the show. Where we'll see who it might be. You'll find out on there because we're not going to announce what it's going to be. It's going to be purely a secret until we hit the show because we don't know. Schedules change. We have the people lined up, but stuff happens. But you can find me doing Marvel Talk over there on our local establishment at youtube.com/at our local establishment and live on Twitch at twitch.tv/our local establishment. You can also find mine and Melboss, all our stuff over on Backbreaker Video at youtube.com/at Backbreaker Video. Mike has a lot of great content coming out of there. You can see his live content at twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. And then you can check out all his great gaming content replayed on Backbreaker Gaming at youtube.com/at Backbreaker_gaming.
Such a mouthful. And if you are wanting to watch NJPW, we will leave a link in the description box below. It is njpwworld.com. It is approximately 999 yen, or approximately 10 Canadian, because we love Sean Spears, but it's actually more like 7, what did we say, 730? 730, 750 this month, something like that. It's less than 10, and that's a good thing for your wallet. Also, I believe a number of the G1 Climax matches are actually free to watch on the NJPW World.
The first 2 nights are free. Just the first 2 nights.
There you go. Go in and get a taster of what we just talked about. See if you agree or disagree with what we had to say, and let us know in the comments down below what you did or did not disagree or agree with. Andre, my friend, people are wanting to follow you on social media. Where are they going to find you?
Well, I already told everybody, so where can they find you?
I didn't hear your Twitter and stuff. I just heard you say that you were on Local Establishment and Backbreaker.
Oh, no, I went through it all.
So I will go ahead then. If you're wanting to follow Melball on social media, you can follow me on Twitter at Collins Melball, or on Mastodon, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Melball Collins. You can also see me posting again on our Facebook fan page there. We posted a little article earlier about Shota Umino training with a Chono. So you want to go check that out. I don't remember the name of the guy who I posted it from. I think it's Turn Tweener. I'd have to double check. We follow him. He's adorable. That being said, Andre, my friend, you can also find me on our Local Establishment's original programming. Bear mindful. Alex, the werewolf, Carl Karafel, the gold standard, and I are going to be recording very soon for our episode that is going in on Monday, which we are going to be doing about missing people, the Missing 411 series. You don't want to miss out on that, where we talk about all the people just spooky, ookyingly disappearing in the forests and stuff. Don't go walking alone, or apparently in groups, because that's not even safe. You can also find me on Astro Pizarro's YouTube channel with the Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We do this every couple of weeks, but lately Astra's just been so popular and getting so many opportunities. We have been delaying coming on here, but don't you guys worry. We are going to be talking about some Stardom ladies very, very soon. I did share some of the match stuff with Astrid in regards to Hutami Hayashishida. So I'm excited for her to get her first experience with Japanese wrestling. And Andre, I think that brings us to the end of it. My airhead cannot take much longer. I need to go to sleep. So, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
Just want to say thank you very much. Please like the video, subscribe down below, and comment down because we want to hear from you.
And that being said, I am your Melba. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.